What's up? What's up? What's up? Carlton here. Carlton's Travel Adventures. Listen to the entire video from me. Do me a big favor. I want you to help me train the next Black Warren Buffett. I'm serious. That's what I'm trying to do. Help me do it. Listen to the entire video. Thank you. This is Carlton with Carlton's Travel Adventures. Another beautiful day in Medellin. So today's Monday, and I usually give you some stock tips for the week, but I wanted to hold off for this week and do this videotape. I'll probably give you the stock picks tomorrow. Okay, this is kind of important. I want to back up a little bit and give you a little history of my background in the stock market and what I want to expect from you guys. Okay, so now my parents have a third grade education. That's it. They're uneducated, but they're very hard workers. You hear the old joke about Jamaicans having 2 or 3 jobs. Yeah, my dad had 2 jobs. My mom had 2 or 3 jobs. They worked very hard. Put up a lot of crap back in the 70s when they first came to the States, and so I didn't want to do that. So I got to make sure I got educated. But most of black folks, and I'm talking in generalities again, and I'm not saying all white folks are rich. This is what I'm saying, so you get my point. A lot of us black folks don't have the history, the parents to teach us this stuff, right? And even the friends and family that we're around don't know this stuff, right? I know growing up, my parents didn't know nothing about the market. Their friends that we hung around did nothing about the market. They were just hard workers, worked hard, saved their money, buy a house, and so forth. Nothing wrong with that. We have to get smarter. We have to get smarter as a generation and teach the young kids, okay, about the market. And I learned, because when I left, I studied in school. I went to Rutgers University, but also when I left, I worked in the Wall Street area as a national bank examiner, examining all the big banks, city banks, and all those banks. And I learned from older white males. Just the fact, that's my experience. That's how I learned. They taught me a lot, just watching them trade every day, talk about it every day, money they were making, things they were doing, heard that. And also when I started my first job at Barnett Bank, after I got my MBA, worked with a gentleman by the name of Will, and he did, I think, 30 years at U.S. Steel. Then he came into banking just for a few years because he had a friend that worked in the bank. And we traveled a lot on an audit team all over Florida. And I remember this guy, when we go to lunch sometimes, you sit down and say, Carlton, and he give me some little hints. He never told me what to do. Never told me what to do. It was probably about 65 years old back then. He finally passed away a few years ago, Bill Westland. So he would tell me, for instance, I never forget this one story he told me when I first started working with him. We're down in Key West having lunch one day on an audit and for Barnett Bank. He said, started talking about stocks and so forth. And he said, Carlton, you know what? He said, when I was your age, in my 20s, I started work at U.S. Steel, and there was this old guy, one of the executives, saw me at lunch one day, and he said, Bill, when I was your age, and somebody told me about this mutual fund called Vanguard, and he told me, if he had some money, he would put, about $10,000 or so into this fund called Windsor, Windsor Fund. I go, Windsor, okay. He said, but that's Bill telling me the story now. He said, Carlton, I never listened to it. I said, Carlton, I had 4 kids. I had too many kids too early. I had 4 kids. Didn't have the extra money to put it in Windsor, But eventually, as I went up the ladder, it ended up being like a senior vice president at U.S. Steel. And so I started to invest. And remember what the guy told me, So I started to investigate Windsor, and I started to invest in Windsor. And then I remember 20 years later, I looked at the fund and I realized, wow, if I had invested $10,000 when the guy told me, would we work X by now, quite a bit of money. So he said, just told me that. And I said, okay, Bill. And that's it, And I'm the kind of person that like to investigate things. They have to spoon feed me. So I went home that night, wrote it down, did my research on Vanguard Windsor. That's one of the first funds I invested in, Vanguard Windsor 2. I think Windsor had closed, and had Windsor 2 open, and I first invested in that since I was probably 20-something years old, maybe 25. I bought some individual drips and stocks from about 23, from when I was in New York, and then the first mutual fund I went into was Vanguard Windsor 2. So I just picked up things off and on from older cats, you know. I didn't have anybody older, you know, black people to tell me this stuff. I didn't know. My parents didn't know it. Their friends didn't know it. So, you know, my point is now I know it. I try to tell people about it. I try to educate young kids about it. It doesn't mean black or white, but you got to educate them. You know, but I'm saying, you know, a lot of our black folks don't have that background. We still don't like stocks. You know, we're still scared of stocks. You know, not all of us, but I know a lot of us still do. You know, and there's so much money to be made. There's so much financial security in investing in the market. Okay, just have to be careful about it and hold on to it. Now, let's run into. So your job now is to go out and tell young people about the stock market, especially if you're black. I'm not saying it's only if you're black, you know. Not all white people are wealthy. I'm not saying that either. So don't switch my words. People like to pick at things when I say things. In fact, speaking in generalities, just the nature of black race not having that background from way back, okay? This is the facts, okay? But you can do it if you're white too, Spanish, whatever. Teach your young kids about the stock market any way you can. Sit down and talk to them. Show them examples of, say, give me an example of some of these things. So look, show them. If you had invested, you know, in Microsoft in April 4th, 2005, it was then $25 a share, okay? Especially when you're young. And now it's going at, I think it's like $187 a share, okay? It's a long time to wait, but so what? And a lot of stocks I've owned for years and years and years, buy them and sit on them, okay? For instance, Home Depot, okay? Back in November 19, 2002, okay? It was worth $25 a share. And now it's worth, well, it went up high as 242, I think, you know. So plenty of examples of that I can show you, you know. So you don't have to look for immediate return, you know. Buy and hold it, and when you retire, you'll be surprised how much money you have when you retire, okay? Teach those kids. You don't need a lot of money either. Invest a small amount. As you get older, invest a little more, $25 a month, $100 a month. It'll add up, it'll add up, it'll add up. You can invest it in regular stock. You can invest it in mutual funds. Teach your kids this stuff, okay? All right, now, and I've done to that, just your job. Now, let's talk some sectors for you guys that know what I'm talking about. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's gonna be helpful to you. You know, as you look for opportunities in the market, what I've been doing too is looking at sectors, okay? And the various sectors, you know, the airline, cruises, energy, and so forth. Now, a lot of you overlook the pharmaceutical sector, you know? Look into that sector for possibilities of some tremendous returns and get a lot of these companies at pennies on the dollar right now, you know, when they're doing research, right? If you go to the FDA site, there's an FDA calendar that will tell you when these companies are coming up with their, you know, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 research to the FDA, okay? Very important to look at that. Show you an example. There's a company called Immuneron, IMRN, okay? As late as March 24th, they were trading at $1.55 a share, $1.55 a share, okay? And then last week, it shot up, a week before that, it shot up in one day from $2 to $28.99, call it $29 a share. And they announced something, emergency meeting with the FDA, and it shot up, okay? And I'm telling you, it went up like 1,000% one day, okay? 1,000% one day. And there are day traders that I know were making a killing. I'm not a day trader. I don't own the stock, but I know people who were day trading and making a ton of money, over 100,000 on this one stock when it shut up that day. Okay, day traders. So Pharma stock can be very, very beneficial, can be very, very profitable, and then get them real cheap. For instance, some of these I do own, okay? NERV, CHMA, KPTI, EVOK, EPZN, AKTX, ENDP. Some of those, it's an idea. Some of the pharma stock that's really, really cheap. For instance, NERV is like $3.41 a share. Okay, let me tell you which one I own. I'm required to do that. I own IMMP, I own ENDP, I own TORC, I own ATNM of the group, okay? Some of these I bought at 41 cents a share, some at 95 cents a share. You go, you buy 400 or 500 shares, and you watch the announcement date. It's possible this can shoot up from $1 to $20 a share. It's possible. You don't know, you know. It's a gamble. But if you buy 400 shares for $1 a share, it's 400 bucks. Are you going to really miss the 400 bucks? Probably not, okay? It dropped 50%, you lose 200 bucks. Is that a lot of money? Probably not. And the possibility to discover something, some cancer cure, or some cure for some kind of disease, and the stock can take off to $100 a share. Think about it. Bought it at 1, it's now 100. It's now $200 a share. You don't know. Some of you guys don't like that idea, but it's so cheap. Some of these I bought for $3.50 a share. I think the cheapest one is like 45 cents a share. Look into that industry. This is my hint for this week. All right. It could be golden in the hills. You don't know. All you need is 1 or 2 of the things to take off, and you can hold them for 5 years. You don't know. Just hold them. You're not going to miss 500 bucks or 100 bucks or 200 bucks. You won't miss it. Believe me. Okay. So do that. I'm just giving you a hint. One sector you should look into. All right. Now, if you like my videos, give them a thumbs up. Teach your kids or your neighbor's kids, your friends' kids about the stock market. They could be teenagers, 18, 19. Some kids are more mature than others. Some you got to wait till they're in their 20s. Some you can do it at 15, 16, 17. When I started work for the National Bank Examiners, I remember this Jewish girl by the name of Karen. She said when she was like, what's the bar mitzvah age? I don't know what it was, 15 or something. Her grandfather gave her 100 shares of IBM at a teenager. You know what I mean? Didn't happen to us, but us meaning poor, not just black. A lot of poor white folks and Spanish folks out there too. But that's how she started to learn the market at that young age. So if you got kids, it depends on their maturity. They could be 16, 17. Teach them about the market. Sit them down, okay? You might teach 5 and 1 gets it and 1 wants to follow up and 1 wants to learn about it. Teach them about Forex at an 18, 19, 20-year-old age, okay? 1 or 2 might just catch on so well, become the next, Warren Buffett. You don't know. But start them out early. Start them out real early. Let them learn the market. You're going to find a few that just want to learn it more and catch on, all right? That's my hint for the day. Go out and educate. Which somebody had taught me when I was maybe, 15, 16. Because I love this stuff, all right? But I'm still happy I got into it at 23, 24. And somebody older taught me and listened to them. And that's where I became successful in the market. So thanks for listening. Go out and teach somebody. Give me a thumbs up. Tell your friends to subscribe to my channel. I'll be back with some more tips by midweek or so, okay? Thank you very much. Have a good day.